Arts and Sciences. Thank you. One of my family members, at the age of 9, I was 18, let me know that she was being molested by her father, who was working in the Department of Children and Families, known as DCF. When this came out, RIP to my sister Latricia Deshawn Hall. She passed away in 2018. She was married to the father of her kids, and when my niece told me about this, we immediately told my sister, which is her mother, about it. And following that, they were calling me back to back. They would call me at times I felt like, what a coincidence. You know, I attended Johnson County Community College at the time, and you know, when I was going to the garage, just about to go home, drive, leave, I would see people following me. They would call me, like right when I would leave school, to ask about, you know, the investigation of what was going on with my family member, how the situation came about. And I told them several times what happened. It's like they wanted to hear another story. We weren't moving on with it. And I was still going on in my life. And further on from that, I remember they weren't doing anything. He still had his job with DCF. They had evidence of his own daughter being violated by him, and being able to continue on, you know, and for me to have always seen my life and my future, of course a great stand to my family, but me having a purpose within my career, just me driving every day, simply my everyday daily life, I just felt like in a way was plotted on. Nothing specifically happened to me with any Kansas City Police Department officer representative, but I could see I was getting followed. There was no reason for
Speaking on behalf of my husband. His name is Daniel Sharp, in June 2021, he and his family got the most devastating news of their life. Their mother, Roberta Bassett's lifeless body was found by the Kansas River near College Drive under the bridge. Detectives Zamora and Simpson, whom we've never met, were the detectives over his mother's case. They initially visited his older sister at her residence, stating they were able to locate her through looking up their mom on Facebook. They said they were able to identify my mother-in-law by her fingerprints, being that she was found undressed and without her belongings. I'll also add that no one from the family was invited to view or identify her body. We were later told that they no longer allowed family to do that. That was the first and last visit to the family from any KCK law enforcement regarding his mother's case. Following that visit, myself and my husband contacted Detective Zamora and attempted to remain in contact with him. Detective Simpson is one that we never spoke with or ever heard from, and then I guess we later found out it was a female, she was retired. My husband and I provided the last call records, the last ATM transactions, and her last whereabouts that we knew of. Every place we knew my mother-in-law frequented, we provided Detective Zamora with it. Needless to say, he was not swift with following up with any of the information. We gave names of close friends, associates, people she's done work for, and boyfriend, of whom, by the way, Detective Zamora said he wanted to speak with for questioning. My husband and I did our own investigation and even our own stakeout on the boyfriend and contacted Detective Zamora when we found him, which it took them several hours for them to even show up to where we were at. We provided Detective Zamora with addresses and names of people who possibly last seen her days following her murder, which he didn't follow up with. At my mother-in-law's funeral, we were able to get a better understanding because we were finally able to see her body. She had a gash above her eye and a scar above her lip, which was never mentioned. The report that we got from the state was very vague. It really didn't have any information on there. When we asked Detective Zamora about body is just a misdemeanor, and also asked if she had been fishing. Again, she was found naked and without fishing equipment. I also add that the case was closed a few months after without the family being notified, then later reopened. So our question to law enforcement would be, how do the powers that be solve unsolved cases and bring closure to any families that have experienced such a thing? And how are we the people protected from law enforcement when law enforcement is the ones committing or covering up the crimes?
This corruption, and we have corrupt, this is a corrupt place. I don't care if you all stay here, I don't care if you stay here forever, this place is corrupt. The justice system here is ridiculous. I feel with, what would you call it when the prosecutor's just totally out of order? I deal with that. In 1998, my brother was not a fair trial at all, his name was Henry. He was tried with the one who shot him. He was convicted, and it was a situation where a friend came, Chair Moorhead was on his case. He was convicted because his friend came to town, he back home, he hadn't seen him in over 2 years, and so he went with his friend, and it was something about a murder, something due to a murder where his friend had dumped the body out of 12th Street, where we found out was out that way. Well, they tried my brother in Wyandotte County, and they tried him with the corporate that actually shot him. They gave him 25 years to life. Right after that, well, I can take it back to when I was 14, when galuski first tried to arrest me. I'm sitting on the back. I lived right in front of the fire station, the back of my brother's house, sitting in front of the fire station on my street.
Attorney here in Kansas City. I work with More Square a lot, and I've been involved in this movie by writing a couple of letters to the DOJ, and wrote a lawsuit on behalf of some clients who had an officer show up under the influence to their house.
My name is David Grumman. I'm a bilingual criminal defense attorney here in Kansas City, Kansas for the last 22 years. And I'm in this because a lot of my clients don't get a fair shake. They, whether they show up for, whether the police respond for a domestic dispute, or police respond for a vehicle accident, or maybe they're stopped for a DUI, when there's not timely and accurate interpretation, they don't have a chance to have their side heard. And I've seen it again and again, and I think when I started, I thought that my work as a criminal defense attorney would move the needle, that would change things. But as time went on, it was clear that I needed to do something outside of the courtroom, and that's why I'm here.
Hi, my name is Ophelia Williams. I'm a mother of twin 14-year-old boys. Back in 1999, they're still in prison, and they are 41 years, and they got locked up at 14. Okay? It was hard because they signed their life away. They was coerced. And when I did get to see them, I had to see them through video that they had, said that they did it. But I know they didn't do that. But at the same time, while they was down in jail, so many things I went through just to try to visit them. But while they were doing that, a few days later, the galuski come spoke to the prosecutor after he had did that. So when Barnell did have trial. Hi, I'm Cheryl Pilot. I know a lot of you already, and I hope you feel you know me. I've been on a journey for many years now, owing to the fact that I represented Lamont McIntyre along with some other great lawyers, had the joy and wonderful experience of winning his release, and then we did a civil case after that. In the course of doing Lamont's case, I discovered things I had never known before that I did not think could exist. And in fact, they existed, they happened on a daily basis, 20 minutes north of where I live. And it shook me to my core. I'm sitting here shaking now thinking about that revelation. Once you see these things, you can't unsee them. And when you see them, you must do something. I can't say I'm exempt. It's not my responsibility. And so, I'm still here. And I thank all of the wonderful first people I've gotten to know over the years, and I hope Laura McDonald is not too upset with me because I contacted her in 2016 and invited her to a meeting at my office. Lastly, I just want to say I'm still on the job, which many of you know, but I've heard your stories before, but each time I hear them again, I am moved again and feel a renewed sense of urgency. If that's possible, it's like urgency upon urgency. We hear you, this is a travesty. I hope the dam has burst. This is the most corrupt place I have ever seen anywhere, anytime. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Star. My mother was, I'm a community leader. I have been fighting for justice for my mom since 2007. I was 4 years old when I lost my mom. And 2007, I was just like, I don't know what happened to my mom because it's always been an unknown murder, unknown. So I went on to KCK, police department, and I actually sat down with Robert Galuski. And I talked to him about my mom, and he said, "What makes you want to reopen up her case?" I said, "Because no one ever told us anything about it. Like, that's my mom, I deserve to know." And so he brought me up to his office, and me, him, and my uncle, we sat there and we talked. And he was telling me, I just had so many questions. He was like, "Oh, we're gonna look into it and we'll get back with you." So I'm like, okay, we had that good meeting. He goes over to Kansas City, Missouri, and he questioned everyone in Kansas City, Missouri. Not one time when they found my mom, let me go back. So in '83, when they found my mom, she was by a lake, by a little creek, nude, no identification,